From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of Evenings LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. Your Build Back Better Act of 4 stimulus recon will go to the finish line, and all those adult automatic stimulus checks will go out, so says the Democrats and Joseph Biden, your president. But CR for Stimulus 1.0 is getting great news tonight, as $1.5 trillion of dedicated discretionary funds have been put in the continuing resolution bill that has an inherent deadline of just a few days away. These discretionary funds are at the discretion of cabinet members of Joe Biden, including the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, who oversees IRS. And can you say a stimulus check? Wow, I have the latest details on that in today's recording. CR for Stimulus 2 and 3 will merge in the Senate, says the Republicans. New element of bipartisan support. Why is bipartisanship suddenly abounds left and right? It's because of the midterm elections, and now Democrats and Republicans both want to give you money. This is unlike just a few weeks ago, as new inflationary numbers out today signal that some places, like Florida, has nearly 12% inflation. I have the latest details on that tonight across the land. Then we'll be looking back at SS200, a campaign promise new less than 2 years ago. But in the last 3 weeks, we're making history on this as well, because SS300 and SS400 are now available. And I'm going to show you how Joe Biden can do it today without an act of Congress, with simply making a phone call. Then repurposing sums of money and third stimulus. Viewers cleaning up with tens of thousands of dollars across the land. Viewers getting those big sums of money today, this week, upwards of $40,000. There's a lot of money in this recording, and a lot of great news, and a lot of checks. The incredible Evenings LA heats up right now with all these incredible sums of money available both in CR, this stimulus, fourth stimulus, SS300, third stimulus, and potentially, if you look around, maybe it's in some inside of some lobster shorts. But I ain't looking in there for them. That's another show. These incredible details start right here, right now, as Evenings LA gets underway. Hey, good evening, everybody. Recon has passed the House of Representatives, sent over to the Senate, but also sent over is CR for Stimulus 2. That'll merge with 3.0. Meantime, 1.0 has the incredible great news, as though that we did not expect this. Oh boy, we did expect it. $1.5 trillion of discretionary funds now included, and this is bipartisan support. We're going to go over all those incredible checks. This will come before Build Back Better, that has at least $15,000 in there and upwards of $60,000. No time or place to wait for a fourth stimulus, because you can get third stimulus right now. Viewers cleaned up this week. I'm going to show you how to get those big sums of money across the land. Then SS200, no. SS300 and 400, all heating up in today's recording. I'm going to show you all that as well. We got a big night. We have a big evenings. The excitement starts right here. But first, I need your help. Go right in this video and subscribe. You're watching the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America. Bring us to number 2 among cable, broadcasts, and internet. Hit that subscribe button right now. This is LALATE. Like the video and consider becoming a member of Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Be part of the Purple Power community that makes history on a regular basis. Get an incredible newsletter Monday through Friday via the YouTube alert system, and the LALATE alert system features all the big money in third stimulus. But with that, let's go right into the incredible details of what's happening tonight with the Build Back Better Act. 3 clusters of checks, 3 add-ons. Oh my goodness, so much money. At least $15,000 of it. Let's look at it right now. In that first cluster, we got in there the hazard pay. One more year, the earned income tax credit for my essential workers. One more year of the CTC, $3,600 for the children. Wow. $4,000 of elder care, got it in there. $4,000 of care for young children, got it in there as well. $550 Pell Grant recipients for college students, got it in there. $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. And then home repairs. If you live in a low-income community, wow, they got those incredible sums of money in there as well. There's a lot of clusters, but there's also 3 add-ons of checks. And that first add-ons comes from here in Southern California, $25,000, just a little bit less, from Maxine Waters, your representative here in Southern California. This is money for the purchase of your first home given to the seller in your name by the federal government at the time of escrow. Wow. Let's turn now to the incredible second cluster checks. Home repairs and paid leave. Home repairs is to weatherize your home so you can sustain natural disaster, which is like when the neighbors move in and they're all wearing lobster shorts in the front yard. Oh my goodness. Natural disaster. My eyes. Paid leave if you have to stay home due to sickness or illness. Like if you had to stay home because everyone on the center floor showed up in lobster shorts. Oh, I'm so sick. Not to say how they are. Who shows up to work wearing lobster shorts? Paid leave, how much does it pay? It pays a lot. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. If you make $35,000 or more per year, $800 a week. $15,000 annual salary, $800, $400 a week. How many weeks? 4 to 6 weeks per year. So yeah, that's a lot of money. $46,000 a year, W-2, 1099. You don't have to work. Your son or daughter can be the worker in the household because if they have to take off from work due to your illness, they're going to get a check across the land. And that's how it rocks and rolls. That is the second cluster checks, which tees us now up for the incredible second add-on of checks. Comes from Bob Casey, that incredible legislator out of Pennsylvania, $250 billion, just a little bit less for free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Got it in there. This was a Joe Biden campaign promise. Now let's turn to that third cluster where we find deliciousness. Free internet for all, checks. Farmers, checks. Independent contractors, checks. Free school meals for all, checks. And then the seniors. 2 checks on the House, more coming on the Senate side. On the House side, they got the Medicaid gap fix, more about that in a second. And they also got in there the hearing checks. On the Senate side, they vowed to add in their dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, which is par for the course of what we're talking about, the third add-on of checks. I think you know what that third add-on of checks are. Or jump in the live chat right now and write those 3 letters. Write them right now because I bet you know what they are. Yeah, I saw someone write it. It is MSE. MSE, Adult Automatic Stimulus Checks, monthly IRS stimulus checks. Joe Biden and his his presidential spokesperson, Andrew Bates or Yates or whichever motel he runs. I always lose track. I don't stay at either of them. The lobster shorts are just, yeah, that's their wardrobe there. I just don't stay there. Yates, Bates, he says that the president wants all these incredible checks to go out right away. President's ready. And this would include these adult automatic stimulus checks. Now, if you have a question about the children, I'm going to cut back to them in just a second, but let's go over first what MSC stands for. It stands for monthly IRS stimulus check, where the check goes out from IRS. It's a program of checks that would be added to the Forced Stimulus Recon, the Build Back Better Act, that already has tens of thousands of dollars checks for you in there, upwards of $60,000 of checks. So who gets these MSCs? The legislators represent to tens of thousands of viewers of this channel that the recipients would be the same as third stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less annual income, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less annual income, you get it, but double it. Family of 4, here they are. There's the family of 4. They get it. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, you get it as well. Adult dependents also get it. It's not income. It ain't taxable. And some of the great questions that came in overnight and some of the not so great questions were the following. One person said, this is just in California. No one else gets it. No, in California, we get a stimulus check plus her surfboard, That's why we're special. Other parts of the country, you don't get the surfboard. In California, we get the surfboard also. Another person said, my fiance says you have to pay it back. My message to you, time to get a new fiance. And look at what the return policy is on the engagement ring. Is it 30 days? Oh, good. Quickly. Move quickly. Give it back. Another person actually had a really good question, which is, what about that family of four? What if the family of four includes a child? Great question. So if the child is of adult age, then they get it in that family of four. If the child is of minor age, then they get the CTC check. That is a great question. So there you go, rock and roll. So the next question is, how much? Legislators represent $2,000 a month after the first month, $2,000 a month, the first month, and then $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months. So the question is, how do they get it in there? And that tees us up for the procedural analysis starting right now. Procedurally, the way they get it in there is during Senate subcommittee. This legislation, Build Back Better Act, which is where we are right now in the recording, passed in November, is now in the Senate. They would modify it during the Senate subcommittee. That has not happened yet. Then send it to floor vote, and then pass it with a bill. They don't have the bill yet. And then they have a 2-day vote-a-rama. So that is why 4 weeks ago on a Saturday, I delivered the recording on this channel. Do you want to bring back CR for stimulus? Viewers said yes. The reason why they said yes is because we support Build Back Better. It will get done. You will get this money. But we also need checks right now while we're waiting for forced stimulus recon to get to the finish line. And that is CR for stimulus. Back on, baby. So what is CR for stimulus? Let's go over it if you're new to this channel. It was created by me in 2020. In 2020, we had a first stimulus package. We had used the money up, and then we needed more money. Spring of 2020, we are told about a second stimulus package in the works. Negotiators at the time were Nancy Pelosi on behalf of the Democrats and Steve Mnuchin on behalf of the Republicans. He's Treasury Secretary, she's Speaker of the House. At issue was a second stimulus package, thousands of pages of length, partisan. Spring negotiations, no deal. Summer, no deal. Fall, no deal. December, no deal. So I said, no deal with me. I ain't going to wait around any longer. I have to come up with some solution to this no deal situation. So this is what I look for. I look for something that was smaller, just a few hundred pages of length, like a bill. Then I look for something that had bipartisan support, both political parties supporting it. Inherent deadline, very important because Nancy and Steve were doing this for 11 months. And I found it. Continuing resolution, CR. What is a CR? It's done every 3 to 6 months to fund the federal government. And to fund the federal government, they do the CR. They roll it over maybe a few days, maybe a week, maybe a month, but not several months. It has inherent deadline, bipartisan support, several pages, not thousands of pages. It fits it. So mainly I prepared the first recording to deliver to viewers on this channel, but also to prepare for the criticism I was expected to hear. And I made that first recording in December 2020. And this is what it sounded like. I said, hey, everybody, it's LA. It's December 2020, and we've been watching the second stimulus package negotiations go nowhere for 11 months, so I have a solution for you. I call it CR for stimulus. Write the hashtag campaign in the live chat right now. And do you like the idea? Viewers love the idea because it had an inherent deadline, very quick, and it looked like it would get done. The CR at the time had a December 2020 deadline. Insert a check in there. CR gets done, then the check goes out. Well, immediately the criticism came in. And the criticism was exactly what I anticipated. Doesn't belong in there, LALATE. You're crazy. No, I'm nuts. And that's why I have a nuts video coming up later on this channel tonight. No, I know it doesn't belong in there, but that doesn't mean they can't put it in there. Since the start of Congress, they've had legislation passed where there's checks put in there that don't belong. Pandemic, they had legislation, COVID relief legislation that sent a check out to foreign military governments, one that proposed to build a brand new FBI building. It just keeps on going on and on and on. We can insert a check in there, and we pushed. And one morning we woke up and we're told stimulus is in the CR. Oh, we thought we had won until we looked and realized, no, that's unemployment stimulus. Try again. So we tried again. And finally, it got in there. My creation, a CR for stimulus, made history because a $600 stimulus check was put into the continuing resolution in December 2020. Purple Power, the viewership of this channel, the membership, this community, made history because you advocated and it got out there. What also was no longer history. Second stimulus, it blew up. It never passed. It never got a bill. It never got a vote. It never paid you a penny. Thank goodness for CR for stimulus. So that was 2020. 4 Saturdays ago, I delivered on air. Do you want to bring it back on issue? And viewers said yes. And boy, did it work, because within 24 hours, we heard about the House of Representatives doing their version of CR for stimulus 2.0. And that would involve pieces of economic legislation. Within 24 hours, one passes the House. Yeah, very quickly. Sent over to the Senate. That's CR for Stimulus 2.0. The House Republicans, you're hearing me right, Republicans received it in the Senate, saying we're going to merge it together with what we're working on. That's 2.0 and 3.0 in the Senate. The latest update on that is coming up after the commercial break. Meantime, also heating up in the Senate is CR for Stimulus 4.0. The opportunity to insert a check into a sanctions bill of Russia regarding Ukraine. But CR for Stimulus is the one that we started 4 weeks ago, and boy, it has the best news of all four. $1.5 trillion of dedicated funds that are discretionary at the discretion of cabinet members of Joe Biden are in there with bipartisan support of Republicans and Democrats in the House and Senate. Oh boy, is this looking good. I have all the great news coming up after the commercial break. It gets even better, the great news, after that. SS200, yeah, you heard about it 2 years ago on this channel. Well, guess what? Get ready for SS300 and SS400. The deliciousness comes up after the commercial break. I'll show you with just a mere phone call how Joe Biden can solve the inflationary pressures for millions of Americans on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits within 30 days by raising your benefits up $200, then raising you up an additional $100 next January, and then potentially another $90 or $80 the year after that. That's SS200 now, SS300 by the end of the year, and SS400 a year later after that. Oh, these incredible details, plus how to repurpose money, and guess what? More viewers getting $10,000 and $40,000 from third stimulus. Stay to the very end. We have a lot of money coming up for you. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. Before we go back into the incredible great news about CR 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll also be going back into Build Back Better Act and those incredible checks. We have a huge recording tonight, folks, with a lot of great news. See you back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues now as Evenings LA goes into its big second half. The House of Representatives passed the 4 stimulus recon, but also passed CR for Stimulus 2.0, which the senators say they're going to merge with 3.0. Boy, I have all the incredible great news about this tonight coming up after the second half. Then CR for Stimulus 1.0 looking better than ever before with $1.5 trillion of funds ready to rock and roll. I'll go over those funds and you in the second half of this video. CR for Stimulus 4.0. The Russian sanctions bill, what's the update on it tonight? I have the latest. Then we turn into SS 200, SS 300, and SS 400. Boy, all these incredible details you're only going to hear on this channel tonight on Evenings LA. We're going to look at the president's opportunity to repurpose sums of money, and we'll look at the viewers that got $10,000 to $40,000 in the last 24 days. I'm going to show you how to get these big sums of money across the country. Then we'll be looking at the big programs of the Build Back Better Act, all those incredible details and more as we go into a big, bold, beautiful Evenings LA. I'm excited you're here, but I need your help first. I need you to go under this video and subscribe. You're watching the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, but I need you to bring us to number 2. Hit that like button and consider becoming a member. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system. And also sign up for the LALATE alerts, the link to which is also in the video's description under the video. Totally free to sign up for those LA alerts so you do not miss a video when it goes live or breaking news or the big money. And with that, we pick up with where we left off at CR for Stimulus 1.0, starting right now with that breaking news tonight. The breaking news tonight is that CR for Stimulus 1.0 will get done, and it has an inherent deadline just a few days away in early March. But the great news is that 1.5 trillion, you heard me right, trillion of discretionary funds have been indicated and allocated in there during negotiations between Republicans and Democrats, House and Senate. Wow, this is huge. The discretionary funds are at the discretion of cabinet members like Joseph Biden's cabinet members. Janet Yellen, who is head of Treasury, oversees IRS. Oh, yes, it's looking really good. 1.5 trillion is a lot of money, folks. That is bigger than many of the stimulus packages covered on this channel. This gives you far more than enough to insert a stimulus check. And we're talking about something right around the corner. It does not negate Build Back Better. It just gets out a check across the land. Now, Leahy and Schumer, of course, are the two most important people to advocate to, but you really want to advocate to all the senators to say, you know what? You got money in there. We have control over the money, but still make sure the money is spent the right way. Don't spend the money on lobster shorts. And that's why you want to advocate to Schumer. And everyone else, like Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer, saying the best professionally respectful way possible. And the message that you would send is something along the lines of this. We've supported you for Build Back Better, and it hasn't happened yet. But while Build Back Better will happen, we need money right now. Inflation's out of control. You want to retain seats in the Senate? You want to pick up seats in the Senate with your political party? Give us money and use part of that discretionary funds on us. And that is where the great news is tonight on CR for Stimulus 1.0. 2.0 is getting really interesting because 2.0 was passed by Representative Pete Aguilar and those House Democrats who said we need lots of pieces of economic legislation passed. Even though we still support Build Back Better, we need these economic pieces of legislation to pass right now. Aguilar and the group basically said, hey, social reform like dental, vision, and hearing, we don't need to do that right now. We need to deal with inflation and its pressure upon you and your wallet. And so the first piece of economic legislation passed already in the House, sent to the Senate. Senate Republicans, you heard me right. Republicans said, we like what the House Democrats did. And this is from Todd Young. We just need to merge the two things together. Wow, this is incredible, great news. Now, why are we hearing this? Why are we seeing so much bipartisan support? And why have the tables been sort of changed so quickly? Let me tell you what's going on so you understand how different it is right now than it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we had Republicans saying, we think the economy's good. There's no indication the economy's bad. And we had Democrats saying the economy's bad. People need assistance. Now the Republicans are saying the opposite. They're saying the economy's bad. The Democrats are to blame. The Democrats are saying the economy's also bad, but we're not to blame. So what are both parties understanding? The way to win the midterm elections, to gain seats and hold existing seats, is to pass pieces of economic legislation. The voting electorate will no longer tolerate politicians to say, I promise to do something, when you're sitting here in the spring and inflation's out of control. When you see states like Florida, which has a Republican governor, and the inflation rate is 12% in Tampa. That's why they say we need something to solve the situation right now. We can't wait to the midterm elections. So that's where that element of bipartisanship is heating up across the land. It's also heating up with CR for Stimulus 4.0. Now, this is the one that I don't understand, CR for Stimulus 4.0. The opportunity to insert a stimulus check in the Russian sanctions bill is very obvious. It's a bill, it's very small pages in length. It has 100% bipartisan support. Republicans like Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio, Democrats like Bob Menendez. But here's the problem that I don't understand. Why has the vote not happened? This is Republicans and Democrats are both saying, Chuck, what are you doing? You do the vote before Vladimir invades Ukraine. So I don't understand why this vote, which should have happened almost 2 weeks ago, is still not happened. But there you go. CR for Stimulus 1, 2, 3, and 4. That all supplements Build Back Better, which I'll be going back into in just a second. But now let's turn to the excitement of SS200. Oh my goodness. This is the incredible, exciting news that you're not going to hear anywhere else, but except here on this channel. In 2020, there were several people running for president of the United States. Among the Democrats, they were Liz Warren and Joe Biden. Liz Warren's campaign promise platform included SS reform that would raise everyone's benefits up $200 a month. She also wanted to remove the income cap, Act of Congress, marriage penalty, Act of Congress, and asset cap, Act of Congress. She eventually withdrew from run for presidency and the Democratic nominee. Joe Biden says, I like Liz's policies. I'm going to adopt them as my own. He did. And he ran on her platform for president. He won the general election, and then in his transition papers, still published online at joebiden.com, he said millions of Americans need $200 a month for beneficiaries. Starting right now, it's an urgent situation. Problem was, he came into office and never did it. Democrats looked and wondered, why has this not been done? And so they proposed fifth stimulus, a proposal that would involve everything that Liz and Joe had promised. Well, we thought it would heat up 2 months ago. It hadn't heated up. And so with that, I said, you know what? I'm going to do it better. Joe Biden, how you're watching me? Hi, Mr. President. How you watching me? I'm going to show you right now how to do SS200 right today, and I'm going to do it even better. First, I'm going to do it as SS300, and I'm going to do it as lifetime. Liz Warren's and Joe Biden's promise was $200 on top of your existing benefits for 6 to 12 months. I'm going to show you how to get $300 on top of your existing benefits a lifetime, and how it'll go to $400 in 2 years from now. Here we go. Let's first do the calculation, then we'll do the math, and then we'll do the logistics of it. Very simply, your benefits under this proposal, under what I'm going to go through, would raise up $200 a month on average, 30 days out from the moment in which this is done. Then, when they apply your new benchmark next December, you get another $100 on top of that. So that would bring you to $300 from where you are right now. But if inflation stays how it historically has been, you'll probably go up another $60 the year after that. So that'll bring you somewhere around SS 360, 380, 400 approximately. All right, let me tell you how you do this. This is very simple, folks. All you do is one thing. Replace COLA with inflation. COLA determines how much your benefits go up year after year, and COLA is a horrible benchmark. Year after year, your COLA is flat, so your benefits don't go up. And every year you see price of eggs go up, but COLA stay flat. This last year, COLA came at 5.9%. It went up because inflation is out of control. If you replace COLA right today at 5.9%, with inflation at 8%, your benefits will go up $200. Guess what? Where inflation is heading by December, it's going to go up again. You'll get another $100 on top of that. Millions of Americans would get that immediate relief across the board. Now, let's go over where this is and why I got it right. In spring of last year, I said that by December 2021, 2 months ago, the inflation rate would be 8% and not going down. Not temporary, not transitory. Transitory is a fancy word for temporary. Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell at the time said that inflation rate would be 1 to 2% December 2021 and temporary, transitory. I said, I don't buy it. I think you're wrong, Jay Powell. Turns out he was wrong. At the time, Wall Street said it was going to be 2 to 3%, a little bit higher, but they also said it was going to be temporary. I said, you're wrong. I think it's going to be 8% and not temporary. Well, guess what? I was 100% correct. This is what happened. After the month of December, in early January, the Labor Department released the inflation numbers, 7.5%. Bingo, got it right. Number two, shortly after that number came out, I said the inflation is not going down. I believe it's going to stay the same or go higher. It could stay around 8%, go higher in the month of January. That number's still not been released. But what has been released is the following. The producer price index number released about 7 days ago showed it at 12%. Oh my goodness, folks. That is humongous. Also, we're now seeing inflation numbers from state by state. And while we're talking about 7.5% in the month of December, that's national. States like Florida are now experiencing 12% inflation right now. Folks, it's out of control. So this is why this works. Because if the president did this within let's say the change is made 30 days out from now, your benefits would go up $200 instantly. Well, I'm not done with the analysis because guess what? Most analysts now believe that by the end of this year, the inflation rate will be about 4%. So at 4% by the end of this year, they'd apply the benchmark again for next year. That would raise you up about another $100. So that's SS 300. And after that, the year after that, inflation is likely to be 1-2% at least. That'll be another $50, $60, $70. That's about SS 400. Very, very simple. And this is lifetime because once your benefits go up, they never go down. So how does Joe Biden do this? Very simply with a phone call. All he has to do is pick up the phone and call the Social Security Administrator head, which he put in after he fired Commissioner Saul, and say, replace COLA with inflation. It's that simple. Start paying people out based upon inflation 30 days out, and that's it. He can make those phone calls at any time. He did it with SNAP back in October 2020, where he said, 2021, he said, Department of Agriculture, you're not paying enough, pay more money. And they did. Now your benefits are going up 25%. This would be a big relief to millions of Americans who are dealing with a pinch of inflation right now. Imagine your benefits going up $200 more per month. There was a new report that came out just a few hours ago that says people are spending about $300, $400 more per month because of inflation. So this is why you need this right across the board. Now, the president does not need executive orders, does not need an act of Congress. All he needs is a phone call. He also has another opportunity. Repurpose existing sums of money. How does he do this? Well, there are programs established by act of Congress. And when the programs are over, let's say it's a 6-month program, sometimes the funds aren't used up. And the funds just sort of sit there until someone grabs them. So what does he need to do? Joe Biden needs to repurpose existing sums of money and send it out to you. In 2020, when this channel launched, wait, did I just say that right? I'm forgetting what year this is. Yeah, 2020, when this channel launched, I had told viewers that there was a new program going live called the Mainstream Lending Program. You don't remember that? No one did. It was a horrible bomb of a program. It was called the Mainstream Lending Program. I made 4 videos. They had 4 viewers each. How many people got the Mainstream Lending Program in the United States? Not among viewers, just about the United States. 1. It was so unpopular. There was billions of dollars dedicated to that program fund, folks. That's an example of a program that ran out. No one wanted the program because it was no good. And the money just sat there. Well, the president can repurpose sums of money. And this was done by Donald Trump during his administration. He picked up the phone and contacted FEMA to say repurpose existing sums of money for unemployment assistance. It became LWA. So Joe Biden can do this as well. Very simple across the land. All he does is pick up the phone and say repurpose the money, does not need an executive order, and away we go. We're ready to rock and roll. And with that, I want to go into the incredible details of what is in Build Back Better right now. Remember Yates or Bates or whatever motel he has, Hilton, says that the president wants all these incredible checks of Build Back Better to go out. Build Back Better is still happening. Democrats say it's going to finish and it's going to pass. So let's go over these incredible checks because guess what? You need to know every single one of these checks. Remember, this is an educational channel, an informational channel, a learning channel. So you should potentially learn something brand new in every single video that you didn't learn in the video before that you watch this channel. An additional check, an additional way to get a check, an additional qualification for funds, an additional way to get those funds paid to you. And let's go over some of that right now. Build Back Better Act has SALT cap, raise it from $10,000 to $72,500 of what you can deduct and see in local taxes. Cheaper prescription medication, growing it from 20 at year 1 to 30 at year 2028. Most expensive medication like Medicare Part B, D, cancer, arthritis, diabetes. They got $40 billion of free job training in there so you can get a higher paying job totally free. They got the Medicaid gap fix in there. What is that? That's 12 Republican states that vowed never to pay for Obamacare. Now the Democrats got a workaround plan into Build Back Better. They'll provide years of subsidized private insurance to low-income uninsured people in those states. They got in there the hearing. They vowed to add in their dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from about 65 to as low as 55. They got in their hazard pay one more year of the earned income tax credit for my essential workers, one more year of the $3,600 for the CTC, one more year of the home health care, the household tax credit. But they also vowed to do housing. Two provisions that are new. The first one is to weatherize your home, and the second one is for the purchase of a new home. And of course, actually, there is a third. The home repairs if you live in a low-income community. The rest of the checks for housing and for stimulus look familiar. Why? Because a continuation from third stimulus. And the great news is that third stimulus still has fortunes out there. I'm going to show you how to get those big fortunes of money starting right now. Here we rock and roll. Pull out that newsletter if you're a member of this channel right now. If you're not a member, go under this video and hit the membership link. Get that newsletter tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system. Here was the number back in October of what people were getting from third stimulus. Anywhere from 20 to 27,000. Under the word evenings LA overlay graphic is the name Nisi. She's at 20,000. Remember Nisi's name. I'm coming back to her in a second. Well, it's upwards of 40,000 right now. Where do you get it? 6 places. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, and State Housing Authority. It's all in the newsletter. It's 3 musts. You must reach out to all 6 places. You must do multiple applications, and you must do multiple rounds. More about that in a second. I'll come back to in a second. And I have new details tonight on Evenings LA about the rent. Utility assistance. Here's Mark. His brother-in-law got $15,000. You reach out to all your utility companies. Utility assistance because of COVID. SNAP. Money for food. Gift from Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year for his family over 10 years, $250,000. Tell me any financial news channel in this country that's getting any family $25,000 except this one. You can't find it. And here comes Nisi. Nisi had 3 items at $23,000, along with Art Sullivan at the time. They inspired countless viewers. Because guess what happened? Viewers started getting 3 items or more because I said do what Nisi and Art Sullivan did. Here was Mark. He was at 2 at $32,000. I said, Mark, where's your 30? He went to $50,000. Now he's at over $100,000. Lorraine, she's at 105. Now she's at 120. I have new details tonight about the rent, which I want to go over with you for the first time tonight about the rent. The first one I want to go over with you is this eligibility. When I first started making videos about rent in 2020, before second stimulus was even law, before third stimulus was even law, I said to you at the time, there's a lot of different qualifications across the country for rent. And at the time, in some jurisdictions in 2020, you had to be behind on rent to qualify. Somewhere along the line, that notion got its own press agent because people just heard that and didn't hear what was done everywhere else. The case in point tonight is that generally across the country right now, being behind on rent is no longer generally a requirement to getting this rent assistance. I'm going to say it again. To get rent assistance for third stimulus, being behind on rent is generally no longer a requirement in the jurisdictions in which it was once a requirement. So that is now passed. So no longer think that that is a requirement for you if that was what the situation was then. Number 2, there's money everywhere, folks. I can only say that so many times. This channel has been around since April 2020. I started covering rent in December 2020. And even then, I had people in states, the same states I'm hearing just today. There's no money in my state. No one ever has gotten a penny. It's untrue. My viewers have gotten millions of dollars in the states. The comments I'm getting are Minnesota. I got money in Minnesota. Missouri. I've gotten fortunes for viewers in Missouri. And what's happening is that some people get in sort of a mindset. And here's the best polite way I could say it. They get in a mindset that they hear maybe 3 no's on the phone, and then they sort of stop. I haven't included Johnny in the videos for about a week, and I think I should right now. Johnny was very important because Johnny was one of several viewers who started a particular week with $0. And by the middle of the week, he had 3 programs approved. He got 45,000. But by the end of the week, he had 7 programs approved, 80,000. That was part 1 of Johnny's incredible 3-part story. The reason I always mention Johnny in this channel was not the 80,000 in that 1 week. It was that because he got 7 programs approved, he had to have made 15 phone calls. 15 phone calls means 8 rejections. I think people fear that rejection is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It means you're working. So I've had viewers in the last 24 hours saying, I reached out to 2 places, I got a no. Good, you reached out to 2 places. Did you reach out to 12 places? Did you reach out to 16 places? You're going to get yeses. They will even out because it's generally about a 50% rejection rate. And what's important to understand is even when I say reach out to 6 places, that's just in this video. I also feature in the newsletter the 5 nonprofits. That's 11 places. Did you reach out to 11 places? Do not fear rejection. If you pick up the phone today and you call 3 and you get 3 no's, don't stop because you will get a yes. I used to also feature on the live chat or in the videos saying, post in the live chat your success story because that will inspire other people to get motivated. I thought by now I don't have to repeat that again because so many people have gotten the money. But needless to say, there's always someone that comes around that somewhere wants to say, there's no money in my state, not state number X. There's money in every state. I've gotten people money in every state. And I've seen that in some states, it's hard to get it at the county, easy to get it in the state. Hard to get at the city, easy to get at the county. It's just sort of the way it is. So go get that money. Next, I want you to get this round out as far as possible. Get it out potentially all the way to May. And if you're new to this channel and you never got this before, reach out to all 6 places. If you got money from this before, get another round starting from where you started last time. And if they're out of money, then lean on the nonprofits. Well, Nisi, remember Nisi earlier in this video? Well, here's the update from her. She says, hey, LA, I got another $7,000 for rent and another $3,000 for utilities. I told you I'd have an update. Hello, Purple Power. So that's additional $10,000 for Nisi. She got $33,000 before. Here's Karen. She got $23,000 more for rent, $13,000 more for SNAP, and $4,000 for more for utilities. I feel so blessed. That's about $40,000. The average viewer of this channel got about $45,000 from third stimulus in spring of last year. Then they got some money last summer. Most viewers got about $15,000 for the 3rd round in December last year. There you go. 1, 2, 3 rounds. Remember, I haven't said this for a while. Again, I'm going to say it right now as well. You want to get this money because I can't fix the car in the driveway. I can't get you car stimulus. I can't fix the, what's an example? I can't fix the dishwasher. I can't get you dishwasher stimulus, but I can get your other bills paid. And I can get this rent, utilities, food, and internet, and more for you. And the more items I can get for you across the land, get those monies. We're here to cash checks, not track checks. And the concept of that message is very simple. Don't sit around just looking for a check. Anyone who sort of jumps into a chat and simply starts saying, when, it may be permissible to say that if you're a Nisi who's already gotten $40,000, $50,000 from all this other money under third stimulus. But if you're just showing up to just ask for when you're getting a check and haven't got to any of this, my response is, why would you pass up something that's paying viewers in spring of 2021 $45,000, winter of 2021 $15,000, and another $40,000 right now? There is nothing in CR for stimulus that's $40,000 in your wallet. Build Back Better, when it becomes law, will have a lot of money in there, about $60,000. But that's not happening in the next 2 weeks. Why not get this money right now? Cash as much money as possible. And that is how we rock and roll. Meantime, my commentary. Tonight, what should we anticipate for the next coming days? Whatever happens with Ukraine, whatever happens with Russia, I want you to understand that it will not distract the attention to your stimulus. No, not distracting on this channel and not distracting in Congress or the presidency. People always believe that they hear another topic on the front of broadcast media and that suddenly your topic is back page news. Well, in a way, on the broadcast channel, your topic is back page news. How many times have you heard broadcast media go over rent assistance because of COVID? Never. So is that ever front page news with them? No. Will Russian Vladimir Putin and Ukraine be front page news? Yeah. Will they cover your money? No. They're not. So do not think that is what's going on in Congress. Do not believe their coverage subject matters is indicative of what's going on with Congress. They're just after ratings. Broadcast media is just after ratings. So if something very dramatic happens with Vladimir Putin, they'll run the story because a big story, they hope to get ratings from it. And that is ultimately what's at hand. Don't think that Congress is not working on your legislation, because Congress doesn't get involved with military exercises so much, except for appropriation of money and approval of funds for operations across the land. I want you to really stay focused on this inflationary rate, folks, though. This is really the big one. New data came out today suggests that the inflation rate in some states is really out of control. Like I told you, Tampa, Florida, 12%, 11% inflation. Florida really being hit hard. California, high inflation. Some places the inflation rate is far higher than that 8%. I want you to stay focused on what your gas, eggs, and milk are, because you'll get a sense of where inflation is hitting across the land. I want you to understand that there is that element of bipartisan support out there to pass legislation, but I also want you to lean on it and advocate with the stimulus you're entitled to, because they now all understand, Republicans and Democrats, that the way to pick up seats in Congress, the way to maintain seats in Congress, is to pass economic legislation, not just sit around and talk about it. And that ultimately, that is how we will get to the finish line. We got a lot of shows coming up tonight and a lot of shows overnight as well. Evenings LALATE at 5 o'clock, brand new nightly. Then evenings countdown at 6 o'clock. Then home street and stimulus with everything from your chocolate cake to going nuts. Yeah, there's a nut show also. Then evenings extra at 8 o'clock. And then we go in our overnight show at 9, at 10, 11:30. It's important to watch those shows because they are now all at about August of 2021, which is when we already had Build Back Better in our hands. We already have the draft of legislation. Those provisions from August are still in there and will remain in there. Then we return tomorrow morning at 3:30, 4, and 7 a.m. with sunrise, early mornings, and also morning's countdown. And with that, I want you part of this incredible family, so subscribe. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes. Tell your friends to come on over. Have a beautiful evening. Stay informed, stay focused, stay positive. And if your fiance says you have to pay back any of this money from the recon, the Encounter Group is here to hook you up with someone else. Make introductions right now for that person who has that really badly informed fiance. And check the return policy on the ring. You still may be within the 30 days. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with Allies for More.